of the tweed cloth. So remember, if you will, all the way back this morning when we were in Roslin, I mentioned that there was no consensus of spelling in Scotland for centuries. You could spell things as you wanted to, you could spell them as you heard them, and nobody said that you'd spelt it wrong. So the cloth that was being produced in this area was twill, T-W-I-L-L, and that is twill cloth. It's worldwide. It's one of 3 main styles of weaving, about how you overlay the weft and the waft threads. So denim is a twill. Yeah, it's just a style of weaving. It describes anything that's got a diagonal stripe in it, a textural diagonal stripe, not a coloured stripe, but it's just the way that the threads are overlaid. The problem is that somebody here wrote Tweal, because that's how they heard the word twill, and a London merchant came here, saw some cloth he liked, ordered quite a large quantity of it, and when it arrived in London, the shipment on the invoice said Tweal, and he misread the L for a D, because he knew, having visited this area, that the name of the local river was the River Tweed, and he made an assumption that the cloth was named after the river, which it wasn't. He then sold the cloth to the US, and he was asked for more, and he had marketed it as Tweed, so he couldn't then change its name, could he? So there was basically demand in the US. So I forget the exact year, 80, no, it's earlier than that, it's earlier than 1850s. I'm terrible with it. I just throw centuries around like they're nothing, folks. I do apologise, but somewhere between 1750 and 1850. Basically, he had this demand for cloth from the US, and he ordered more, but was told no such product existed. And so that's when he realises his mistake. But he continued selling it as Tweed to his American audience, and so it was known as Tweed in the States before it was known as Tweed here. Harris Tweed, incidentally, is a protected brand. It was under European law. Obviously, we've left the EU, unfortunately. Some of us would have liked to have stayed. The majority of Scots would have liked to have stayed. But Harris Tweed is a particular brand. It can only be produced on the Outer Hebridean Islands of Scotland, in people's homes, on a hand loom. There's certain restrictions about the scale of cloth produced, the way it's dyed. What I'm basically saying to you guys is, if you buy Tweed and it doesn't say Harris Tweed, it doesn't mean it's inferior, it just means it hasn't met all those specifications, including where it's produced. So you cannot call Tweed produced in this area Harris Tweed. It could be really high quality, could be very exclusive product, but they just couldn't bear that label if it was produced in the border region. Okay, let's have a song.